Last episode, I started the Minecraft world I always wanted, found a lovely place to set up camp, got lost in a jungle while searching for dark oak and spruce, and then I got eaten by a crocodile 8,000 blocks from home. This time we build the ultimate create mod starter house, but first, we have a journey to make. I want all my stuff back, and I still need dark oak and spruce saplings. And about 30 minutes, 2 naps, and a thunderstorm later, we're pretty much back to where we died. We died just over there. Oh, there he is. Look, he knows I'm here already. Oh, man. And he did eat my horse. He ate my horse. Oh, that is uncool, buddy. Uncool. Right, let's see if we can sneak in and get our stuff. I can see my body floating on the water over there. Oh, and the remains of my horse. Oh, that is not on, buddy. Right, can I get my stuff before I get eaten? Oh, that was nice and easy. Okay, good. Can I get the horse stuff as well without getting eaten? That is the question. Right, run. Okay, he knows I'm here. I can't believe that. You ate my horse! Thanks to a mod we have on called Corpses, though, all our stuff just gets, well, held on a dead body like that until we come and collect it, basically. So at least we didn't run the risk of stuff despawning. But yeah, my horse. My poor horse! On the plus side, though, we've got our dark oak saplings back, and we've only got another 2,000 blocks or so to go until we can get ourselves some tasty, tasty spruce. And then once we get that and get all the way back home, we can finally make a start on making the ultimate create starter house, which I'm very excited about. I'm going to be forever terrified of rivers and water now, though. Jeez. Oh, and there it is. There's the spruce. Oh, that makes me so happy. Right, let's get chopping. I hope there's not any dangerous animals in the spruce forest. Right, I think we might actually be ready to make the 10,000 block journey home. Although on looking at the map, because we've got such a long way to go, look at this. This is absolutely insane. What we could do is maybe take a slightly different route. And if we happen to stumble across a biome we haven't seen, then that's good. Maybe? Oh, it's so long. Yeah, you know what? I think we might do that. The river goes over this way and then goes to the west, so let's just head west and then south instead of directly southwest. I don't really want to check and see if there's any mangrove nearby. That just seems dangerous. We've done it. We've finally made it home. That has taken about half an hour, but I've had a wonderful time. And we've got a nice fast horse as well, although I have lost my lead. So, yeah, don't wander too far. So first things first, I'm going to empty my backpack and then, well, we do want to plan out our build. But for that, we're going to need lots and lots of resources. So we're probably going to end up having to go on some kind of a mining mission. Oh, lots and lots of mining. And of course, we're going to need to grow and chop down a whole load of trees as well. Hey, where are you going? Get back here. Right, well, I think I've got everything I need to do some mining. I've got a whole bunch of pickaxes in my backpack here, as well as a load of torches. And I've got some food, some additional iron. We should be good. And to be honest, I think I'm just going to start here, dig down, and see what we find. That was a very long but very successful mining trip. We now have a whole lot of deep slate that we're going to need for this build, as well as some other bits and bobs such as the andesite. We found some of this weird green stuff, not entirely sure what that is, as well as things like tuff as well, because that's all stuff that we're going to be using in this build. I also went swimming and got loads of clay balls, which we will need to turn into bricks, and we've also got some trees growing on top of the hill up there, which is our dark oak and spruce. But I wanted them out of the way while they grow, but we do need to harvest a whole bunch of that as well, and that brings me to my next task, and that is to finally enter the andesite age and build some create stuff. Because if we make one of these, then chopping trees is going to be a whole lot easier. But we're also going to need one of these to make some iron sheets first. But hopefully, that should be fairly straightforward. Yep, just a bunch of iron and some andesite casings. So to make andesite casings, we just do this, which makes us andesite alloy. And then what we do, if we grab a couple of oak logs, for example, strip them and then right-click with this, that'll give us the andesite casings. So let's quickly make a mechanical press. And we're going to need a depot as well, so that's got something to actually press onto, and we'll just stick that here for now. It's only very temporary. So if I chuck 3 pieces of iron on there and then spin this and make this go down 3 times... we now have our 3 iron sheets, which means we can make the mechanical saw, which I believe was something like that. And while we're here, I think I'm going to make myself a wrench as well, because that's going to come in very handy for what we're about to do. So if I go up to the base of any tree and crouch right-click and then just stick this on the back, what I can do is chop down this one log here. And look at that, it removes the entire tree. And with the wrench in my hand, I can crouch right click and instantly pick those 2 things up again. So clearing the trees around here is going to be a whole lot easier, and it also works for the big trees. So I'm going to run around for an hour or so. I'm going to clear some space around here on all of these trees, and I'm going to harvest lots of the dark oak and spruce, and then we can finally start our build, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be absolutely awesome. But yeah, space and wood, that's what we need. Well, I've cleared out a whole bunch of space down here in my valley, and I think I've decided where to put my starter house, and it's going to be over there in front of this waterfall, because I think I actually want to make use of that, and maybe we'll have a water wheel powered starter house. Plus, there's already the beginnings of a nice platform there, so I think if we were to build that out a little bit, maybe build a small sort of retaining wall and so on, that's where we'll build our first thing. As I say, the tent here is not a permanent build. It's only going to be here pretty much until we've got our starter house. I don't think we're going to need it much longer after that. But the other good thing is, if we're going to be utilising the water from here, that's going to have to exit somewhere, and this just naturally goes down into a pool down the bottom. So we could even actually flood this bit down the bottom, have a nice lake in a crater. We'll see what takes our fancy in future. For now, let's get focused on this bit and place lots of dirt, I guess. Try and work out a shape. A few hours later, and I think I've got a rough shape I'm going to work with. That's roughly the sort of size we want. I will, of course, have to sort of reshape the cliffs and things around here as we build, but, well, we'll figure that out while we're building, I guess. But before we start placing blocks, we need to build a couple of workstations. So one of the mods I've added is called Chipped, and what that does is give you a whole bunch of different workbenches, and it doesn't add new blocks, but it does add new variants of all the existing blocks, which means we have a lot more freedom with what we can achieve, and I need a mason's table and a carpenter's table? Yep, they're the 2 I need. So what we need to do is just get the bits to craft those, and I'll show you how they work. Now we have a mason's table and a carpenter's table, which not only look awesome, but they also have cool functionalities. So if I go in here and I chuck in, for example, a tough block, look at all these different variants of tough that we have available to us. And same thing with wood. If we put in some birch planks, we have lots and lots of different variants. And I think the first thing I want to do is just make a platform to build on, and we're going to use a whole bunch of tough bricks for this, and we're going to build ourselves a nice big platform. I've got the start of a platform down. I've mixed in a little bit of texturing, but we'll probably switch up the actual internal floors once we get a building down. However, how am I going to do this? So I think I want to have 2 parts to this building. So maybe like a workshop on this side, about that sort of size. And then we'll put some kind of living quarters, I guess, on this side. So that sort of size should work nicely. And what we're going to do is make the base level out of brick. I've got a few different variants here from the wonderful table down the bottom there. And I think these should work quite nicely. So let's build up the frame a little bit more and try and get this ground floor worked out. We're making some good progress on the ground floor after a lot of of chopping and changing, but I think we're going to have the workshop here. So this will just be a few of the old create machines. And then we'll have some basic storage in here. And I think I want to continue that upstairs. So the next job is framing out the upper floor. Well, it's kind of hard to visualize at the moment, but I think what I'm going to do is have a slanted roof on this side, a lower slanted roof on this side, and then a point on the top there. But I need to get these walls built up first. And for that, we're going to use spruce. Well, the walls have come along well, but we really need to get that roof on. And for that, I want to use polished cut deep slate, which is from the create mod itself. But for that, we need deep slate, which means we need to cook up a whole lot of the cobbled stuff we've already got. So I'm just setting up a little cooker here that should be a lot quicker than using furnaces. So we just use an encased fan here. We've got a couple of cogs on the back, and that's just so I don't have to crouch while I'm turning it. I'm very lazy. We're going to stick a bucket of lava in front of it, and then we're going to chuck all the deep slate we want to cook into this bit down here. So we can just stand here and spin the handle, and that's going to blow air through the lava, which will cook the deep slate. And in under a minute, we've got loads of deep slate, and if we now put that into the stone cutter, I should be able to get what I want, which is the polished cut deep slate. And I think for a bit of variation, we'll just take some of the normal polished deep slate as well, which we can just get from the cobbled stuff. So we're going to use slabs on this side for a nice slanty roof. And for the main roof, I think we'll start with some stairs and then do 2 of those. In fact, maybe we'll do just 1 block and then a stair. That'll probably work a bit better. And then we'll do the same thing at the top here. The roof works really well, but now we need to add a little bit of detail, and in particular, a balcony to the front here. And what we're going to be doing is making use of a very cool mod called frames. And what it does is it allows you to make blocks like this, which are frames of pretty much any block in the game, as well as blocks that are not in the game, such as slopes like this. And then what you can do is click them with any block, and then they just apply that texture. Obviously, that one was a bit pointless. So if we place these trapdoors down and then just hit them with a stripped dark oak wood, we get these lovely little beams, but they're not solid blocks. And in fact, if we hold a block in our offhand when we place the frame, that will automatically apply that texture. And this just works really well for adding detail to things, but we want to use it up here to make some kind of a balcony or something. And we're also going to use it for adding some supports under the building here, but it really does give a nice bit of shape to the building. Let's quickly get the rest of this installed. And these frame trapdoors also make really good barriers if you don't actually apply another texture to them. Oh, look at this. We can also switch up our doors and make them look different. This is very cool. What do we want? Yeah, they look really nice. I like those. Coming along nicely, and I think we're just about ready to start figuring out the power situation. So we're going to have the create machines in here, which means we need to have power in this room. And I think what we're going to do is use this area out here to apply some water wheels, which does mean we somehow need to get the river from there through the building, I guess, and over to here, but that'll be fine. So what we need to do is to make some water wheels. I think we're going to put 3 in initially, and hopefully this will be enough power. So we'll make 3 normal size water wheels, and then we want to turn them into giant ones, because although they're a little bit slower, they do actually produce a lot more power. I reckon we can probably do that as well, just to make it fit a little bit better. And then what we're going to need to do is feed the water out of the building there somehow. So I wonder. So we're going to need the water to come out of the building this way here, and we need it to basically pour onto this. So maybe we need to actually bring this down a block to here. Although it would help if I actually put it in the right place. Let's move all this over by a block. Then I guess we can use some framed stairs here so we can still make sure it's the stripped dark oak. And then maybe some spruce trapdoors on the side here. But to make this make sense, we're going to carry it on the inside as well. And then I guess we're just going to have to figure out how we're going to redirect some of that into the building over there. But we'll deal with that later. But now let's go get some water and get this thing up and running. And there we go. Our first power. Amazing. Although we do now need to get this hooked up to the building, of course. How are we going to do that? We're probably going to want to speed it up as well. So we're probably going to need a whole bunch of cogs. I'm going to have a little play around and I'll bring you back in once it's all wired up, I guess. Thankfully, that wasn't too painful. And I've managed to get a bunch of power inside here. So these are the encased chain drives. They just sort of transfer power horizontally. And that's all being powered by this little cog here, which is of course linked up to the water wheels. And I've just got like a little line of cogs and some gearboxes and things to transfer the power over to here, and then I've got large cogs going to small ones, and then large ones and small ones and so on, just to get the speed up. So that means any machines we put in here should be a lot quicker than if we were just to go straight off of this speed, which is very slow. Although I really should make myself some goggles so I can actually see how fast it is, but we'll get to that later. But because of the way this has been built and it's in the hill as well, as I say, we've just got this sort of line of small cogs going down. So in in theory, if we realise that we do actually need more power, I can just hide some underground and hook it up to the same system. But hopefully that won't be needed. So with that all sorted, what I want to do now, I think, is actually kit out this room, which means we're going to put a bunch of create contraptions in here, just a few of the basic machines. And instead of talking through each individual one as I build them, I think the best thing for me to do is just to place them all down and then tell you what they do. It's all fairly straightforward, to be honest. Progress is being made, and I've got my initial, well, 4 out of the 5 machines in here that I want. I haven't got my poker yet. So this is the smasher, so this just crushes things down like the iron sheets that we saw earlier. This one will be a poker, but I actually need to get some brass first. So we can't do that just yet, but hopefully we'll be able to get to that next episode. Then we have our crusher, so we can just put things in the top here. They'll get crushed by the millstone, and the output goes into the barrel here. We have a slicer, although currently it can't slice. One moment. So let's give the slicer a knife. There we go. Oh my days, that looks really dangerous. But that's going to help us automate some of the Farmer's Delight mod a little bit later down the line. And then we have our mixer as well, which is going to be very useful for making certain things. We can even make andesite alloy in this, I believe, if we just chuck in andesite and some iron nuggets. But this is a bunch of the machines that we're going to need to get things up and running over here. However, we've still got some other things we need to do. For example, we need to sort out our storage in here. We actually need to put some windows in as well. And there's also a whole bunch of these different workstations. You'll notice we have a third one there now as well. That's the Tinker's workstation. And that let me turn a lamp into this funky looking lamp, which I think is a lot more fitting with the actual area around here. So let's spend a bit of time sorting out the interior in here, and probably this floor here as well, because once again, we're going to have more storage in here, and then we'll figure out what to do with the rest of the place. Well, the outside still needs a buttload of work, but I think I might actually be done on the inside. I think we have all the interior stuff done. So we've got lots and lots of storage around here, which I have moved in everything we had in our tent so far, but this is obviously going to expand over time, and we'll end up filling all these slots and probably run out. I've also used some of the new bookshelves up here so we can actually store all of our books as we get them, and I think that looks pretty cool and should hopefully work quite well for us. And then on the next floor, we have more of our bulk storage. We've got a lot more room for some books. We've got all of our wood bits and bobs, and yeah, these are all these sort of the big drawers, so to speak, because I fully expect we're going to end up with a whole buttload of this stuff. And also in this room, using the immersive paintings mod, I've added myself a lovely little photo of my tent because, well, that's going to get destroyed very shortly, so I thought it would be nice to have that so at least we remember what it once looked like. It was our first home on the server after all. So up on this next floor, I've added in an enchantment setup, which I think is going to come in very, very handy, and all the workbenches that I've been using, I've just sort of stacked up here. We've got space for a few more, and that'll be fine for now. We can still use those as and when we need to. Out the front here, I've put a rope and pulley system as well, but until we get some super glue, we can't actually make that a working thing, but we'll get some super glue soon, and then yeah, that'll actually be able to go up and down as well. We'll add switches and so on, and that brings us up to the loft, which is a little bit leaky when it rains apparently, but this is going to be our bedroom. I'm not going to do anything too fancy up here. I'm probably just going to stick a bed down on the floor, to be perfectly honest, but this is also how the power's being routed for the lift pulley system, and you may notice there's also power going across the top and then back down again, and this is for our latest little addition outside. So what I've got is an encased fan at the top there. We've got lava in front of it, and it's essentially the cooker that we had outside earlier, but in a much more easier to handle way. I can just stick a stack of stuff on there and it will get cooked. But not only that, I've also put a bucket of water here so that I can switch it out, and this means I can also use it for washing as required. And that's going to come in very handy for us in future. So with the interior looking all fancy and nice, I've got a lot of work to do out here because, well, this looks extremely unnatural at the moment, and I haven't quite decided if I want it to look unnatural or if I want to kind of blend it into the landscape. Don't really know yet, but I need to sort out all the front around here. I need to remove the tent and extend this round a little bit more, and I need to, of course, feed the water into the building because currently it's coming out of the building, but it's not actually going in. So that's what we're going to work on now, and I guess the first part of that is going to be removing our tent here. You've served me well, you kept me safe for at least a few nights, but now it's time for you to go. Tent's gone. Now let's fix the rest of this landscape. I have no idea what we're going to do, so you're probably going to see some weird little beardy montage of me placing random blocks that make absolutely no sense until I bring you back in at the end and show you the full result. Let's see what we can do. a short while later, and I think for now at least we are done. I do want to do a lot more with the area down here, and of course this wall. I want to make that look a lot more natural, and yeah, we'll just mess around with that another time. And this lake's probably going to end up a whole lot bigger as well. But for now, I just wanted to make sure I got this area here tied up. And if we jump into free cam and have a look, we can see everything's looking a lot better situated than it was before. It doesn't look like it's on a floating platform anymore. As I say, it just needs a little bit more integration around this area here, but we need more resources for that. And if we have a look up the top here, we're now filtering out some of the water, which then continues to run down into the underground river that is already there. And then this also connects down the bottom here. So this is actually kind of what's forming the lake. It's basically being formed just from what we're using for power. And speaking of power, I have actually had to extend the power down, and we've got another set of 3 water wheels there. Sadly, the lift was just pushing it over the edge. We've then got a path around the front here. We've also got some dead oak leaves and some magenta flower oak leaves. So these are all made from the botanist's table, which is another one of those workbenches that I've made. And then out the front here, we've just got stacks of wood resources. We've got a whole bunch of different crates, also from the tinker's workbench. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving these things. Just the variety we can add now really does help bring this place to life. And the addition of some copper pipes and brackets and things like that around the place also help. Plus, I've also blocked in this back wall because, well, there's nothing on the other side of that, so I didn't actually need a walkway that goes all the way through. But that's good, because that gives us space to build more things there, and I have a feeling we're going to be building something very soon, because, as I say, I do want a poker, and for that we need brass, and to make brass, we need a heated version of this. But that's something we're going to have to save for next episode, because sadly, that's all we've got time for today. But I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I know I have, and we've now got an awesome house to live in. How cool is that? See you on the next one. Bye-bye now.